Good morning, and thank you for joining us for this Savision webinar. My name is Stephen Dwyer, and I'm a Senior Systems Architect here at Savision. I'm going to be joined today by my colleague Jos Schreck, who leads up our mobile team. Today's webinar topic is Savision's Best of MMS 2013. For those of you who have attended Savision webinars before, this slide's probably going to be very familiar to you. Just to let you know that there is a Q&A section in WebEx, so if you have any questions, please feel free to enter them there, and we'll get to you at the end of the webinar. And also, we are recording this webinar, so if you would like to watch it again or pass it on to friends or colleagues, we'll definitely make that link available to you. Just a quick look at our agenda. We're going to be highlighting our MMS 2013 experience and then jump right into the brand new features that we announced at the show. We've been hinting at these features at webinars over the last few months, and for the first time today, we're going to show you them in their entirety. And also we're going to discuss how we see you gaining business value from these new features. And finally, we'll be answering any and all questions that you might have about Savision, our products, and how we work with System Center. Hopefully we're not going to take up more than about 30 minutes of your time today. So I'm a little bit jealous because I didn't get to make it to MMS this year. But the Savision team that did go down there had an amazing time in Las Vegas. They met with many, many happy customers, both present and future, discussed the world of System Center with MVPs, and both attended and presented at many sessions. The show attendees also overwhelmed us with their participation in our System Center is Like contest. The contest challenged attendees to complete the simile in order to receive a free t-shirt, with the top runners-up receiving customized shirts and the grand prize winner a Microsoft Surface RT. The winning slogan, System Center without live maps is like summer without sun. We're also very happy to announce the appointment of Richard Baluzzo, former President and CEO of Microsoft, to our advisory board. And most of all, we were very happy to announce the release of our latest products and features. So Savision has a history of offering products that make System Center much easier to use. Applications like our Live Maps product are designed to show you exactly the information you need, when you need it, and to filter out everything else. For example, dashboarding in Live Maps is a great way to create high-level overviews of the status of your business and mission-critical services. Rather than making you focus on every single monitor and alert, the System Center pops up. We roll up all that information into a simple single screen where you can see the health information at a glance. And you can create views not just for your people in IT, but also for your application owners and business executives, giving them exactly the information that they need to perform their jobs. So for example, this dashboard, one double click, and we go right into the availability of the business service from the executive point of view. Executive is most concerned with revenue, what drives revenue, its visitors to our website, and can they actually place orders. So this live map here has Microsoft's Watcher nodes looking at the status of that order entry system from different points around the globe. The executives don't care about the nitty-gritty details of how you've architected your service, so Savision allows you to show them just what they need to look at. You can embed this dashboard into SharePoint, and you've got a single hub for everyone in the company to instantly know the status of the business. Another click on the application dashboard, and you can jump into the application model. If you have a problem at all, for instance, this caution indicator, you can trace through the connected maps to find right where the root cause is. And you can see the systems and services that are impacted along the way. And you can even link into dynamic lists of hardware and software, and as pieces are added and removed from your infrastructure, Live Maps keeps the list and all the associated maps up to date. And then of course you can create a view for your IT professional showing a drill down right into the actual infrastructure that's supporting the service. So businesses save time and money with Savision's products. We've always been about showing you what you need to know when you need it. We've been about simplifying the complexity of IT and only showing you what you're interested in. And we've been about surfacing information that System Center knows about but isn't necessarily telling you. The new features that we rolled out at MMS continue on this theme. So let's take a look.
Hello?
We know that taking care of private clouds can be tedious and time-consuming. Microsoft and the various MVPs have endless lists of best practices. And unfortunately, as we discovered even ourselves at Savision, Virtual Machine Manager and Hyper-V Manager can often let you shoot yourself in the foot when you're trying to configure change properties. Savision's latest product offering, our Virtual Machine Manager integration, automates the maintenance of your virtual environment. It's packed full of tuning tips and troubleshooters, and it offers clear recommendations when it finds a problem.
Yeah, just the two of us.
And even better than that, it's absolutely 100% free.
But no speaker.
We're actually going to be continually updating this product and adding new tips and new features as well. And actually just last week we rolled out an update adding some new tips as well.
There's a chat on the folder.
So let's take a look.
I'm chatting with somebody now.
Okay.
So here we are right in Virtual Machine Manager.
This is Nick. I work for Savision.
And if you look at the ribbon bar at the top, you'll see a little icon called Tuning Tips. So we'll just choose Tuning Tips. And we're right into our Virtual Machine Manager add-in. It's integrated right into the native Virtual Machine Manager console, so you don't have to start up any other applications. You don't have to just go to a web page. It's right where you want to do your work. We're also context sensitive. So here, for example, we found 37 tuning tips in this environment. If I choose a particular host, well, we found 22 tuning tips for that host in particular. So what sort of things do we offer? Well, I want to contrast it a little bit to what VMM will tell you. So here, if we're looking at the cluster right here, if you look very hard, you'll see there's a little tiny caution icon next to the cluster. That's something VMM put there. If we go into VMM properties for the cluster, we can see cluster reserve state overcommitted. Well, that's a warning it's giving me, but is there some more information that possibly we can know? So we jump into Savision's tuning tips. We have a tip here called the installed memory in the cluster cannot support failover. We're going to choose it and then read the description. So the cluster, the same cluster we just selected before, does not have enough memory to support the failover of one host. Then we go into more details. We'll tell you how many hosts are in the cluster, tell you the memory on the smallest and the largest, and the total amount of memory in the cluster. Then for you, we'll also add up the amount of memory required to support all the virtual machines that are running right now, and we'll tell you that if one of your hosts were to fail, what the shortfall would be. So we go from cluster reserve state overcommitted to telling you exactly how much memory you need, what the shortfall is going to be, what that cluster looks like. And then we also give you a recommendation on how you can potentially fix that problem. So our recommendation here is to act on other tips, such as virtual machine appears to be unused, or you can add some extra memory into your cluster. So let's look at the tip that it recommended, virtual machine appears to be unused. So we're all familiar with the problem of VM sprawl, especially environments that are self-service, where users come in, create new virtual machines, use them for a while, and then forget to turn them off. So we've built a little heuristic into this tuning tips to try and locate machines that have been just left idle. So let's take a look at one of them. Here we say this virtual machine appears to be idle unused. And then we tell you why we think it is. So over the last 16 days, processor usage has not gone over 0%. Disk I/O network usage have been negligible. And we'll also tell you the resources it's using, 1 gigabyte of memory on that host and cluster, how much is free on that host and cluster. So you can see right away the impact what that idle virtual machine is imposing. Very simple recommendation here, delete the virtual machine. Some of our tips also look at forecasting the future. So for example, we actually make predictions. So looking at this tip, we actually show you the available memory on this particular host over the last 30 days. And this host we've been creating a lot of virtual machines on lately, and you can see it's been trending down. And based on current trends, as we keep adding virtual machines, this host is going to run out of memory within about the next week. And then we also have some very simple tips as well, things like dynamic memory is not being used. So we'll identify where you could potentially save some resources by enabling dynamic memory so that Virtual Machine Manager can shrink the amount of memory that that VM is using as it doesn't require it anymore. We'll also tell you, because when you configure dynamic memory, you can configure the starting amount of memory. The amount is the minimum that the virtual machine won't go below. We'll tell you when that starting memory seems to be too high. We'll look at what the demand is from that virtual machine, and we'll actually make a recommendation on what you should reduce the starting memory to. For example, here we're saying reduce it from 2 gigabytes to 409 megabytes. Because over the last 3 days that we've been looking at, the virtual machine has asked for less than this amount 100% of the time. And we'll also show you a graph to see there's a little bit of a spike at one point in time, but basically it's not using very much memory at all. So that is our Virtual Machine Manager add-in. Again, it's completely free, and it's going to be something we're going to keep updating. Actually, this week as well, we've got another update to it coming out. And if you look at the top, there's a little feedback link. Press that. You can instantly send feedback to the development team. If there's things that you want added, just let us know. And actually, this update that's coming out this week is actually based on feedback that people have given us. So we think that makes Virtual Machine Manager much easier to use. It gives you a much better idea of what's going on in your environment, if there's anything misconfigured, if there's anything you have to look out for in the future. Another new product we came out with was our Live Maps Summary widget. So until now, our Live Maps product has really been about visualizations. As we saw in that dashboard at the start, create dashboards of your environment, create maps showing where things are in the world, create architecture diagrams, infrastructure diagrams, that sort of thing. With our new Summary widget, we now add numbers. Because we know that every organization, department, and even individual people, they're interested in different things. So that's why we're taking advantage of the widgets that have been introduced in Operations Manager 2012 to let you build out custom displays of performance and SLA metrics that are critical to your particular business and infrastructure. So let's take a look at that. Here we are in the Operations Manager 2012 console. And I have open here a dashboard. Dashboard's new in Operations Manager 2012. Lets you use widgets from Microsoft, from Savision, from other suppliers as well. Create these free-form dashboards that really give you the information that you need to know. So here I'm particularly interested in Hyper-V storage, especially since we don't have a lot of disk space in our environment. So I created a dashboard called Hyper-V Storage. First widget I installed I called Free Space. And this is looking at the amount of free disk space on my cluster shared volumes. So this is actually linked to an underlying live map. So if I just click on my cluster share volumes, it comes right into a live map showing me the volumes. And here we are. These are all the cluster disks in our environment. So going back, this widget is showing me the amount of free space, 18% on one particular disk. So right at a glance, I can see what's the free space. If I want more information, I can just flip that panel around, and it'll show me the trend over the last 7 days. So this is pulling the performance data out of Operations Manager and just showing it in a different way rather than Operations Manager's performance diagrams and performance graphs, which honestly weren't the greatest things to look at in the past. And here you can pick out exactly what you want and have it right at your fingertips. Now, how easy it is to add new items to this dashboard? Well, let's add a new widget. Up comes the wizard. Under templates, we're going to pick Savision. Savision's Live Map Summary widget. I'm going to next. And I want to add a dashboard item that's going to tell me about the availability of my clustered shared volumes. So I'll just call it availability. Then we'll go next. Now our widget lets you target any live map that you've created. So you can get performance and SLI metrics about any applications, SQL servers, Exchange servers that you put on a live map, about a complete office, all your applications, anything you want to make a live map of, you can get the SLI metrics for, you can get performance metrics for. It's just up to you how you want to cluster things and how you want to view the information. So here again, we're picking clustered shared volumes. We're going next. And I want to add to that widget the SLA objective. Go next. You can configure how this dashboard widget is going to look. I'm just going to change the name a little bit. Change the number of decimal points, positioning. We can have multiple SLAs on one widget, so we can say which column and row they're going to go into. We're just going to go next and then create, and we're just going to wait for Operations Manager to take its time creating that widget and wait for it to request the data from the performance database. And here we go. 100% availability for my cluster shared volumes, so I'm happy. Note that we also color code things, so this SLA objective is met, so it's 100%. Up here, this widget is green because there are no problems with my cluster shared volumes. If there was a problem with the shared volumes, this would turn yellow or red, indicating a warning or a critical error. And of course, for the availability too, I can turn it over and see the trend line, and happily, we've been at 100% for the last 7 days. Nothing to worry about there. So that's our summary widget, again, putting the information that you need. If, for instance, you're interested in SQL databases, create widgets that summarize, say, lock performance, read-write performance of your SQL databases, anything that you want to see to help make your job easier, put that information right at your fingertips. So that's our summary widget. And next what I'm going to do is just turn things over to my colleague Joost, who's going to tell you all about live maps for mobile.
And live maps. You set up your system center and live maps to monitor and visualize all the important systems and services you have, because you need to be on top of their health and need to know when something goes bananas. But what do you do when you want to check your environment or when something goes wrong, you're not at your desk or you're not in the office? Or what if somebody mails you saying that their email is... A lot of people fire up the laptop and open the SCOM console or try to load up the web console on their mobile device. But both options are really cumbersome when you're away from your desk or, again, not in the office. And again, the web console isn't really suitable for viewing on mobile devices. So how did we solve this? We wanted to enable our customers to get the latest information of their live maps, wherever they are and however they want it. And if there are any problems, to get notified fast and be able to understand them at a glance. This is what live maps for mobile brings to the table. Now, it's demo time. Now, it's important to keep in mind that the mobile app is supposed to give you a top-level overview. So for this demo, we created some live maps that serve this purpose. As you can see, we just got a notification telling us that a certain live map, that something has gone wrong. Let's jump into the application and see what happens. It's also worth to mention that we set notifications regardless of a state change. This is contrary to what SCOM does. We will only send notifications when there are alerts generated by the state change. Here you can see that we have some problems in the Netherlands, so let's dig a little deeper. Here you can see that we have a couple of critical alerts. Let's see what we can find out. Here you can see that we have a lot of detail about the alert, such as message, the source, the full path name, or the description. These are all fetched live from Operations Manager. Apart from the default settings on Android and iPhone for notifications, there are some advanced options for Android. You can tell an app, you can tell the app on what state change level you want to be notified at. So if you set warning or error, you will only get notified if it's a warning or above. So that is the mobile app. Even though we just released this, one of our biggest customers to date is already using it to try and see if they can phase out their current pager system in favor of our mobile solution. So that's really big. That's a big thing for us. We also used this during the MMS. We wanted to have a small little lab that had all our services, and it was able to monitor it with our mobile app and see that something went wrong, and I could just reset it from my couch. No gray hair split. So that was the mobile application. So now I'll turn it over to Stephen again.
Thanks very much, Joost. All right. Well, so with these new features and products, we've really done what we've always done best, and that's focusing your time and attention on the problems that need fixing and ignoring all the noise. So in Virtual Machine Manager, with that add-in, we're going to show you what the issues are and only what the issues are. With that summary widget, we're going to let you pick what information do you want to see and exclude everything else. And with that mobile application, we're going to get your attention right away when there's a problem. So we also like to invite you to join us at our website or follow us on Twitter. So the website is savision.com. Again, from the website, you can download the VMM integration. Again, that's 100% free, and we're going to keep updating it. We frequently blog helpful tips and tricks. So if you were interested in getting more of our products, we definitely recommend you take a look at the blog. And we're also going to post this webinar and indeed all the webinars that we do and that our invited guests do, like Cameron Fuller and Marnix Wolf. Post them for on-demand viewing. So if you want to view this webinar or any we've done in the past, please again visit us at savision.com. If you have any further questions, please feel free to visit our website. If you look at the Contact Us link, send those questions to us. And again, we'd like to thank you very much for your time today, and have a great day.